Okay, it looks like we're
Okay.
live.
Yep.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
It's a great thing, modern technology.
It is indeed.
It is, because here we are in different parts of the world, and we're able
Yeah.
to connect
Mhm.
for this great event. So I'm excited, and I'm so glad that your film is part of the festival. And welcome everyone to the Women's International Film Festival 2023 hybrid version. This is our first time doing it this way, but everything changed with the pandemic, and we all learned to pivot. And so while we have some great films online, we also have a few films in person in New York City this year. And next year we'll just get back to normal, and we'll do our best to be in person, and hopefully everybody will be healthy and we can move back that way. But I'm really delighted to have with me Lucy DeCruz. Lucy is a filmmaker. She's out of Australia. She did this wonderful film that I hope everybody has had a chance to watch, or at least will watch, because we have the films that will continue to be available until March 31st, Women's History Month in the United States. So that's why we do it in March, our festival, because it's about empowering women and voices and our issues. And when I saw this film, I just thought that it was such a perfect film for who we are for the festival, right? Because I'm going to let you describe the film a little bit more, but one of the reasons that we put the festival together, it was to have a forum, if you will, where we could address issues that impact women on a global basis. And if there's anything that does that, it's My Body, Their Choice. Just the name of the film alone says it all. Please, Lucy, talk to us about how this film came about. It's such a topical issue right now. I want us to be able to talk about it in such a way that people understand what the film is about without giving it all away.
Yeah. So I was living in Argentina for some time, and just witnessing firsthand what a patriarchal society it was, and still is. I mean, things are changing there now, but it's very difficult for women over there with certain issues. And at the time, it was completely illegal to have an abortion. And obviously still abortions were happening behind the scenes in back alley apartments, back alley sort of clinics. And so people undergoing abortions in horrific conditions, in illegal circumstances, and not getting the proper aftercare. And, women were dying, and there was just all sorts going on. So we decided to make this film to sort of show what was going on in the country on the lead up to the Senate vote in 2018 originally. So we started making it then, because there's a massive divide in the country with the pro-life side and the pro-choice side. It's a very Catholic country, which also plays a massive part into the pro-life side and why abortion has been illegal for so long. So we basically decided to document what was going on the lead up to this Senate vote, and speak to both sides. And also we followed a extreme pro-life activist, the Crazy Baby Lady, to try and understand her point of view. And then obviously filmed at the Senate vote, which all ended in sort of fire and tear gas and all sorts. So it's it all got a bit out of hand, but it's just, there's a lot of passion going on from both sides.
Yeah. And I think not just in Argentina, right? I think that it is an issue that is debated worldwide. Certainly living here in the United States and in Canada, but especially here in the United States, it's with everything that's been happening with the Supreme Court cases and state by state taking away the rights that have been there before. And it's kind of like, I was saying to someone the other day that, you feel that you go through all this process of demonstrating and doing everything you can. We all do that in society, right? For the things that we're passionate about. And then it's like 20 years later, it's like, you got to do it again. And you would think that once it's done, it's done. Like that was my, mother's generation kind of thing, right? So they did it. So now we can move to something else, right? But you can't. You have to stay, you have to stay committed, and you have to just continue to watch and continue to fight the fight, whatever it is, right? And so, when I saw that in Argentina, and I'm aware of the religious part of that too, the religious part of all of that, you know, into the mix. And for me, I didn't know what was going on there, right? So, I mean, I was I knew what was going on in the United States, of course, because this is where I live, but I didn't realize it was going on there. So I just thought it was amazing that you guys said, okay, let's go do this and cover it. And I'm going to say that you really did give a fair opportunity for each side to put out their viewpoint.
Yeah, we thought it was really important to look at both sides because just for our own understanding as well of like what, you know, to get in the minds of like why people have different views and that kind of thing. And it was interesting because with the lady who's nicknamed the crazy baby lady, because she goes around with these plastic fetuses and tries to, you know, deter people from having abortions. It was actually quite interesting to hear her side of the story and to sort of understand a little bit more and empathize with why people have certain views. You know, I'm obviously pro-choice and I think it should be down to the individual. There's so many different circumstances why a woman might want to have an abortion or need to have an abortion. But it was, you know, we thought it was really important to try and bridge the gap in that divide by showing both sides of the story. We also went undercover to a fake abortion clinic who they basically try to deter people from having abortions. So they pose as an abortion clinic where you think they're going to help you. And when you get inside, they're actually, highly on the other side.
Trying to convince you. Yeah. They're trying to convince you otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just, you know, how long were you guys there? How long did well, let me just go back to this because I loved the title of the film because I think it's just so apropos, and it is you know, in this country as well, where it's as you said, you know, it's your body, but it's their choice. And so to me, that's just so multidimensional because it's their choice in that it's other people who are making the decisions for you in terms of whether it's even legal, right? And then it's, you know, other people making that choice for you. And so, and that's the battle that continues.
Yeah, and I think because the vote as well was just down to the senators, it wasn't a public vote. So it was very much their choice, and it was a tight a tight vote in the end. And they did actually pass the law at the beginning of 2021 in the end, but only up to 14 weeks. And from what I hear, it's still very difficult to get an abortion out there, even though they have changed the law. Like, you know, opinions haven't changed. A lot of doctors are still very Catholic, very pro-choice. Very pro-life. So I think it is very difficult still. But yeah, it's exactly that. It should be the right of the individual. I just don't agree that it should be anyone else's choice what you do with your own body and whether or not you know, decide to, you know, no one should ever be forced into parenthood, in my opinion. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That shouldn't be anybody's choice except for the person involved. Just period. Just like everything else that you do with your body if you know, decide that you need to do some sort of procedure, that's your choice that you make. Nobody tells you that you can or can't. But it just seems that with this one issue, it's the one issue where it's often mostly men in more instances than not, because in most governments in the world, the majority male that are making this decision. So not only, you know, so you're talking about the issue of gender as well, right? That's making the decision about female body. And then, I mean, we all know that the arguments back and forth, but I just felt that really the title really did bring it out. So tell me, are you expecting? I know you can't stay with us long. Will there be any follow-up in the country, or do you anticipate that it will stay for now, and that you know, the activists will have to stay kind of behind it and make sure nothing changes in terms of the status of where it is now?
I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it is crazy that, like, in the States, things are going backwards almost. And with the whole Roe versus Wade, and that, you know, all these states are going back the other way and now making it impossible to have an abortion. it is kind of a worry, because it's like, you know, where Argentina's kind of a developing country, in South America on the whole, like there's a lot of countries where it is still illegal, but those are all sort of becoming a little bit more open and, you know, changing things. And then other countries that are more developed are going the other way. It's quite scary. I know that there are still a lot of protests from the pro-life side in Argentina. So I think, yeah, the pro-life side is still trying to get it overturned. And I think, yeah, on the pro-choice side, they you know, they still have a lot of work to do and a long way to go for it to be more accepted there. Because I think as much as the laws changed, it is only still to 14 weeks. It is only still very certain, you know, certain circumstances. Because at the end of the day, before the law was changed, the law was in writing very similar to English law, where it's actually like, you know, there has to sort of be a reason, although it's a lot easier in England to have an abortion. In text, it was almost similar in Argentina in a way, but there was still, you know, there was still a young girl who she'd been raped, and I think she was able to have an abortion, but she just got no aftercare and no support. And it was like they held a ceremony in the hospital for the fetus, and there was no support for the young girl who was, I think she was only 12. So there was things like that. There were certain circumstances where it was allowed to happen, but it's just such a sort of pro-life country. I mean, there's obviously, you know, like a huge amount of activists going the other way and trying to change things in Argentina. There's protests constantly there. So I think there's a long way to go before it's sort of more accepted and easier for women out there. But it's it's slowly changing, I think.
Okay. Well, thank goodness for activists, right? So that hopefully they can continue with what needs to be done. And I don't mind saying I'm definitely pro-choice if it's not been obvious. So I want to thank you for, because I know your time is limited with us this afternoon. I want to thank you for bringing this film, for actually going down there and creating this wonderful piece of work, and submitting it to the Women's International Film Festival. We will be continuing to do screenings throughout the year. So if it turns out that there might be something going on that maybe we can host an in-person screening later in the year, then I will let you know, and maybe we can do something and you can fly to the other side of the couple of oceans, I guess, to get here, and then we'll see if we can do an in-person screening with you. But I want to thank you and your team for pulling this together and being part of the Women's International Film Festival 2023. So that means you're part of the family now, and we'll continue to support you. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. And I'll just encourage everybody to get their pass and watch this amazing film. It's live now. You can watch it at any time, 24/7, because it's being streamed through the platform. So it's wifftv.com. Get your pass, watch the movie, and make a comment to Lucy so that she knows that you really appreciate her great work. So thank you, Lucy. Take care. I guess it's early in the morning there, right? So enjoy your day.
Yeah.
Where can people reach you if they wanted any more information?
If you go to luduproductions.com, LUDU productions.com, you can find my website, and I'm contactable on there. And you can also watch the trailer on there.
Okay.
And, so yeah.
All right. Well, you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great to be a part of the festival. And as you say, hopefully an in-person screening in the future. Thanks so much.
Yes, let's plan it. Okay, take care. Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.